Let's see.
Can they unmute themselves, Leslie, or no?
Yeah, that's what I need you guys to do if you can hear me. Hi, everyone. Thanks. I see everyone's rolling in. If you can see there, Katie did it. Katie, can you hear me?
I can.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So, I believe what Katie did was unmute her mic. So your mic should not be red, it should be green. Looks like Renee has figured that out. Hi, Renee.
Hi.
Good evening. And perhaps they logged in and stepped away for just a second. And that's great. If you're calling in, that's great too. That'll work for me. Just as you're getting into the meeting, please just unmute your mic. And I know Suzanne's joining us. And we have a little bit of feedback going on. Let's see. If someone is on the computer and phone, we'll get feedback from that. So is anyone on computer and phone?
Not I.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hello, hello.
Hi, it's bright and sunny. How come there's sunshine in your office? I don't have that much sunshine.
It's getting dark my way.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted, Suzanne. Let's see. Can you unmute yourself? And you're me somehow. But that's okay. Everybody knows you're Suzanne, so that's okay. There. Hi.
Hi. Hi, Cindy.
Hey, thanks for the giant book today. I've got some weekend reading.
You know, when you put it all together, it's like, wow, look what we did. You know,
I know.
And everyone in the office was so depressed that Labor Day weekend. And it's like, I don't know why. And I started putting this together and it was like, oh my God, look what you did. And that was just GSK, you know, so
Oh, wow.
you know, and I thought, well, they have to see this. I tried uploading it and sending it to you digitally, and it's just too big.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can imagine, you know, at first when you said it's a large file, I thought, okay, just use WeTransfer because I use that a lot. But after getting the binder today, I don't think a WeTransfer would have met your needs.
Well, you know, it's different when you see it in person, you know.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to do is, so I do chronologicals. I do everything chronologically, okay? Whether it be your grant, someone else's grant, okay? So that if we ever need it, yes, we have it digitally, but I got to go to his computer, this computer, and yes, they try to use Google Docs, but it's all in one place, okay?
I love it.
I am like the binder queen. They'll tell you I have a binder for every project.
Well, you know, I am too, Suzanne. I just went through copy because I align to marketing, so I went through copy approval training, which I hope never have to put into place. But when I was reading through all the standard operating procedures, I'm like, no, I can't just have these on my computer. I printed every single one of them out and put them in a binder. I need a reference.
When I was a consumer reviewer for ODH, for the grants they get, every one of those grants is like this big, you know, and they're top secret. You're not allowed to share them with anybody. But in order for me to absorb them, I had to print them, read them, highlight them. And in my office, I have 2 shelves, and they're like about 8 inches each.
That's me too. And I will tell you, when I was in nursing school, and even now at GSK, you know, we go through so much training. Anytime I have to print it out, and I'm a highlighter. In fact, my daughter at one point when she was living at home said to me, she came into my office, she said, why don't you just highlight the words you don't want? Because you're highlighting everything. But to me, everything was so important. I'm like, yep, I need that.
So I have a Bible study right now, okay? And I have multiple Bibles, but I have this one Bible I've had for 50 years, all right? And I'm a writer. I write in my Bible. At first I thought it was sacrilegious, but I'm telling you, almost every page is highlighted. And my goal is once it's all highlighted, then I'm going to a new Bible.
Okay. Hopefully you have many, many more pages to highlight.
Oh, it's just, so Leslie, what do you need from us? Are we under control?
We're all here, Suzanne. So I'm checking roll call here. It seems that Katie was having a hard time, so I'm going to just give her just a second. She said her audio went out. She was on, and then you came on, and her audio's off. So just so you know, roll call here. Brenda Engels. Hi, Brenda. I miss you. Thanks for joining us. If you could unmute your mic, that would just be just clicking on your red microphone. There you are. Hi, Brenda.
Hi there.
Hi, I'm so happy. You know, I'm not sure if I want this to be an open discussion for us towards the end of the program. So I definitely want everyone the chance to speak up and hear from everyone. But it's been some time, Brenda. I'm so happy you could join us. And I actually have a couple questions about your December group that we can chit chat a little bit later on.
Okay.
It looks like Danielle Burnett's here. And Danielle, I'm not sure if you can unmute your mic. Are you there? I know I see Diana Fleming, Justina. Hi, Justina. Are you able to unmute? I'm just going to keep going down. Katie said she was having some troubles and it won't let her back in, but it can. So hold on. Let me just message her. Exit the program and come back in. Can you?
Lisa's here.
Tisa, hi Tisa, I miss you down in Cincinnati. Thanks for joining.
Yes, ma'am.
Back in. I see Lisa Briding. Lisa, are you able to unmute? Mr. Mike Vollmer, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I talked to your lovely wife today. Tell her I'm sorry that I called her twice in a row, but it was nice to talk with her. Thanks for joining, Mike.
She first thought you were a telemarketer.
She did say that. Okay, yeah, she did say that. She's great. Natalie Lindsay Smith, good evening. Are you able to unmute your mic?
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Natalie. Good evening. And then
Good
Tisa's already said hello. I do have someone calling in. Is someone who called in, did someone call in? I can't see a name. So let's see, and I'm getting a bunch of messages here. Okay. All right. So we have a program this evening. Suzanne said we need to get in touch with all of our patient navigators and support group facilitators. So we definitely have both groups. I see, you know, in the email that I sent out, you know, we all have a special guest here this evening, and that's Cindy. So I guess I shall share my screen here. And Suzanne, I was going to let you have the floor here so you can address everyone while I also comment to people that might be having trouble. Let me go ahead and share my screen really quick. And bear with me as I always try to figure out this stuff that we have here. Are you able to see my computer screen? Here we go.
Yes.
There we go.
There we go. That's better, huh?
Yeah.
So, okay, Suzanne, you want to address the troops before we start the program?
I certainly do, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that this is being recorded. Good evening, everyone, and I'm really, really grateful that you were able to join us tonight. Of course, many of you know me personally. If not, let me just, run that by you again. I'm Suzanne Tierney. I'm the CEO and president of the Lupus Foundation's Greater Ohio chapter. And like many of you, I have lupus. And I'm really going to pass the baton off to Leslie, who many of you know. Leslie has been with us for many years now. I know she doesn't look old enough, but I'm sure it's over a decade. But she's a registered nurse, and she was our lead patient navigator. And now we have multiple patient navigators, and she's going to be moving forward in future trainings. And as many of you know, you've been having conversations with you over the past month. As we try to find a new normal in life, I'm concerned about each and every one of you. And I'm concerned about all those that we serve here in the state of Ohio with lupus. And so because our world has been turned upside down, the main question is, where do we go from here? How do we control our chaos? Well, hopefully Leslie Turney and Cindy Fisk are going to be very helpful today in giving you some ideas, and we're going to do some reflections, and we're going to look forward to tomorrow. And I'm just here to say thank you. We're appreciative. I know this isn't the plan we started with, but that's okay. We're on a journey. We're just navigating in a different ocean. How's that? All right, Leslie, you take the ball, and we know things aren't what we initially planned, but I'm sure you're going to navigate them into a new direction.
Thanks, Suzanne. I just want to address a couple of the questions that were popping in. Danielle, it's okay if you can't unmute, and Justina, it's also okay if you can't unmute. But if you just click your microphone, it should be red right now. If you click it and turn it green, you'll be on. But it won't be till a little bit later that I want to open up the platform. But so don't worry, as long as you can hear us and see us, that's great. You're not going to miss anything. And we can always talk after the program or tomorrow sometime. So, okay, great. We are here for the Patient Navigator and Facilitator training. We want to thank GSK and us and Lupus and the Ohio Department of Health for helping us get these tools together to join with you guys. So tonight's agenda, we're just gonna, quick overviews about what's been happening lately. We want to talk about who we are as the Lupus Foundation of America Greater Ohio Chapter, the impact COVID's had on us, some update on funding. We're going to look forward to the future and looking to get your feedback from everyone. So I know this is something you're all used to seeing, right? You know who we are. We are the Lupus Foundation of America Greater Ohio Chapter, and our mission and vision statement is very important. That I know you guys have heard it. We've put it in everyone's training binders, but just to remind you of who we are, the mission of the Lupus Foundation is we are dedicated to improving the quality of life for all people affected by lupus through programs of research, education, and advocacy. Those are the three strong prongs that really hold up our organization, that we want to be sure that we're getting that message out to our community. The vision of the Lupus Foundation is we envision a world without lupus. The organization will advance the science of medicine of lupus to find a cure and improve the quality of life for all people affected by lupus. If it's at all possible, this is something we should all really memorize, that 12-second elevator speech, if you're ever meeting someone out there in the community, of just letting them know who we are and what we do, that's great. So a part of what we do is we want to tell the community who we are and what we do, right? So I think you guys all know we're a grassroots organization. The first support group of this chapter was in the basement of our founding member. The Segueras family is still on our board today. It is now Donna Segueras' son who's on our board, and they're still very strong stakeholders in the organization. So our grassroots organization, really, these roots run deep. We've come a long way since 1977 when this chapter was started, and we want to be sure that we're telling people we're a reliable source of information. Right, and I think that is something that we really stake hold to. We really get that information out to our patients because we're dedicated to them. We're dedicated to the community. We want people to know that we're here to help. We understand their needs because we're very fortunate that our chapter is led by a patient. So that patient's needs gets heard, and we hear from all the lupus patients that step forward and talk with us. We hear their needs, and we bring that to the state level of what we need to be done in our state. We bring that to our physicians, our nurses, that we're looking for help. And so it's very important that we listen to the patients and help them have a voice. And how do we do that all? Well, it's teamwork together. We're doing that together. So the support groups you host, the wellness calls we're doing, we're doing everything we can to get out to the community to let them know who we are and that we're here to support them. The impact of COVID is, been tough for all of us. I hope everyone's well and out there. I'm trying my best to keep communications with all the patient navigators and just check in with you guys. A lot of you are becoming close friends of mine. I think I talk to Tisa and Nikki all the time, which is great. And it's been a toll. COVID's taken a toll on us. But what we're seeing here is, we have unfortunately canceled our annual golf outing and walk. And I just took a snippet of the annual report here. And so we know right off the bat, unfortunately, we're going to be losing 17% of our revenue this year just from not hosting those events. That's huge for us. That's very big for a very small organization. And then if you can see, last year were very fortunate to have bequests given to us at 29%, and that's just not sustainable. We'd be lucky if other people could come forward and give us bequests, but we can't rely on those laurels of having that happen. It was scary for us. We had a whole month of the office being shut down, and we really weren't sure what to do. So it had a major impact on us. Luckily, we came out resilient, right? The impact of COVID definitely affected all of us, but what happened was we responded, we emerged, and we emerged with resilience. So we've done so much from the spring, throughout the summer, following into the fall here. And the reality is all of you have been a really big part of how we responded. So what we did right off the bat, the office shut down and we kind of reemerged. Is it safe? Is it safe? And we just hit the ground running and we never stopped. So what we initially did here was we made a resource guide. We did the COVID-19 lupus updates, and we just responded to the community. We put together tools and resources so that the community knew where to turn to, because we are that pillar of information and we want to be able to give patients the resources that they need. So we put a toolkit together that's still on our website that we are still updating on community resources. We scurried and figured out how to host a webinar, how to host platforms like this, and we did our first live Lupus Summit, and that was great. We actually were able to gather in 261 participants to that event, which was huge for us. We really weren't sure how it was going to respond, so that was excellent. We did a really great program, and Cindy was there for that, so thanks for that help too, Cindy. Unfortunately, the height of COVID coming out, it also affected our Put on Purple Put on Purple Awareness Month. So what did we do? We held a marathon. Every hour on the hour, we went live on Facebook. We heard from lupus patients. We chatted with each other. I think Lisa Briding was a special guest there, so we definitely thank her. I know she's on the call or on this webinar. And, we tried to have fun. We did what we could. We were able to give out PPE kits. So the Lupus Foundation gave away giveaways for personal protection gear. We switched up the TTYL program. We switched it up to a webinar, which has been successful. I think it's been pretty great. We've been making like purple slime, and actually it's this Saturday we'll be doing book covers and talking about our favorite books. We were still able to get people to put on purple. If you could see that middle picture there, there's a collage of everyone that sent in pictures of everyone popping and putting on purple. We did the Columbus Summit, also virtual, and that was able to get access to 163 participants to get that information out, so that was great. And then we recognized that we needed to pause just a second because we were all acting on fear. Everyone was stressed. I think I got a few gray hairs, a few new gray hairs settle in, and we took a moment and worked with a yoga master, and she did guided meditation and deep breathing exercises with us. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but it was excellent. There was the fear of Plaquenil, right? Patients really weren't sure what news was real news, what was happening with their medication. It struck fear. We weren't sure if we should be hoarding our Plaquenil. We weren't sure if we should be taking it, if we should give it to our family members. And so we found someone, a physician, to talk with us and just hit the facts about what hydroxychloroquine, fact over fiction with COVID. So we didn't want people to be without that information. And in the month of June, we spotlighted all of our gentlemen with lupus, and we did posts with them, some of our local Ohio gentlemen, and we did stories with them in our Lupus Now magazine. And then we also held the Ask the Experts program, really focusing and highlighting our men with lupus, and that was a really great program. And then we also hosted a talk on lupus and nutrition, which was huge for us. We joined together with the other chapters, and we were able to get 807 people registered for the program, but I believe only 779 people actually attended. But that's very big, that we were able to gain so much access and found that people were hungry for that information, so to speak. That they jumped in and wanted to know more about inflammation and diets. And actually, that video is housed on our website if anyone missed it. It was excellent. Gretchen Spence is definitely an excellent presenter, and questions flooded in through social media, and we responded with those questions and posted them out there so that everyone could see. So this little recap is not everything that we did. We did so much more than this. We had interviews with the local chambers of commerce. We did interviews with the Women's Business Council of Real Estate, and not to mention all the great programs that you guys are doing. So we still hosted our regular support groups, call-ins, the go-to meetings, and everyone kind of had their platforms. I know Diana was using her own Zoom to get her network in with people. So, you know, we really responded with resilience. We made an impact. We helped the people that are out there and just let them know that we're here too. One of the other great things that we did that Suzanne was able to lock in is we put sanitation kiosks in like CVS pharmacies. So that center picture there is the sanitation. So, hey, while you're shopping and grabbing your grocery cart, you know, cleaning it off, you're gonna stop by and get educated on what is lupus and the No Lupus campaign. So that was pretty successful there, and we were pretty excited when that all came out. So I just want to say, you know, thank you to all of you guys who we really reemerged with resilience. We're a team together helping the community out there, and we've made an impact and a difference in people's lives. So an update on funding. Yay, we did receive the seal of approval from ODH. So that's awesome. We are very excited about that. So what does that really mean? It means we can continue the mission. And for all of us, it's go time. So if it wasn't go time before, it's go time again. But now we can maybe breathe just a little bit easier, knowing that we don't have to fight so hard, but now all the work's coming on, right? We know that we can successfully do the programs that we'd like to do. So what does that mean for the chapter, and what does that mean for you guys? So first, for the chapter, it means that we can do what we would like to do. We'd like to continue out the No Lupus campaign. It'd be great if we could have more of those sanitation kiosks. So we're going to be able to do the No Lupus campaign. Some huge, big, exciting stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen our social media posts, but we're going to be creating a new blog and a new podcast for us. So that's very exciting. And we're definitely going to need your help with that. This is a huge undertaking. You know, we are a small office, but we have a lot to say. So we're going to try the podcasts out and see where we get with that. Of course, we'll continue with our social media campaigns. We'll be able to run more targeted ads to get out to the community. We'll be doing digital programs, which include 2 digital summits and a program on disparity training. We will be updating the website and the toolkit. The website update will be another huge undertaking, and so this is something that we're all looking forward to because we always want to be fresh and be sure that people are able to access our website clearly and easily. We will also be able to do the PSA campaigns that we'd like to do, continue rolling out the Living with Lupus magazine. I wanted to show all of that to you, but for the sake of time, perhaps I'll show you a little later on if you guys want to see that. We will be sending those out pretty soon. The launch date of the Lupus and Living magazine was waiting this approval of ODH to be given to us, and now that we've gotten it, we're going to be hurrying up, mailing it out to our members and getting that out to people. And then we'll also be able to continue our patient navigation program, which is big for us. I know the patient navigation program wasn't exactly how we saw it to be, but it's getting there, and we will get there. So it means we'll be able to continue the mission, and that's great. So here for all of you, what does that mean for you? Really, the purpose of this training, we're going to keep it surface here. We'll get into more specifics once we can generate annual contracts, and we'll be contacting each of you individually to be able to do that. But first off the bat, we want you all to attend the quarterly educational meetings, and this meeting counts. So thank you guys all so much for joining us. We also want you to attend the Fall Summit on November 14th. That's coming up. We'll be working with the Metro Health doctors to come speak with us, and also Cindy will be a presenter there. And then we'll have the Spring Summit in May, so we definitely want you guys to be joining us also. We're going to study the course. We're going to continue our support groups. And for patient navigators, we are looking for you guys to start hosting three support groups within a year. Most likely that will be virtual, and we have some ideas for that. And I know a lot of you have been giving me input on your chapter check-in calls, and some ideas have been coming from that. So I thank you guys for updating those sheets and letting me know. Obviously, please continue making those patient wellness calls, because this is how we're figuring out what the community needs, and we're getting into our specific communities. We're targeting smaller areas and being able to help the whole state. So that's great. And we want you guys to build out your assigned region context to help us move forward and make these areas stronger. Maybe finding more resources for us to put on the toolkit, local resources I should say. We definitely want to be hearing about any food drives or clothing pickups or donations and things like that you guys hear of. We'll get that out on our resource guide and maybe send an email out to the specific regions if you guys are finding that on your chapter check-in calls. We'll definitely be needing your help with podcasts. We have a whole lot to say, but we want to have the community to have a whole lot to say. So this will be a platform for us to hear possibly your story, or maybe you're talking with someone that has a story that just needs to be heard. So definitely, if you have those opportunities or meet those people within the community on your calls, we want you to bring them forward so maybe they could be a guest on our podcasts. So that kind of brings us to our patient navigators and just wanting to hear from them. I know it seems like Renee's microphone's able to be unmuted, and I'm not sure if, and Tisa. Actually, Renee, if you can, could you chime in? How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I had been talking with you a little while back, and your story just kind of chimes into my mind here. And so I want to hear from the patient navigators. How's the wellness calls going? How's it progressing? What is your experience? Do you have any recommendations? And, just checking in with you. How have the chapter check-in calls been going?
For me, they went well. I have had quite a few that had to go to voicemail, probably because of times of day. And I think people don't necessarily answer the phone if they don't know who it is, And I've also been able to help people with information that we're providing. But as I spoke to you about the whole wheelchair situation, I find we're able to help patients with that, looking for the donation.
Great. So I did want to circle back with you on that. We unfortunately gave the wheelchair, the mobile wheelchair that we had away already. But what I was able to find was resources to help this individual get a wheelchair. So I did try calling you back on that subject, but great that you found someone in need. Now let's see how we can help them.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
yeah, so that's great. So we definitely need to circle up and kind of team up together to see how we can help this individual. So thank you. And I know I'm going to think a little bit. I know your background has been in telemarketing, so you don't really have that big fear factor of picking up the phone and talking to them. Do you have any points for someone that might not be as boisterous as you are?
You know, I don't think I have any good points, because I think anxiety is probably what's causing people to not pick up the phone and make the call. But I just would urge you to, because so many of people that I've reached, especially the elderly people, they're kind of by themselves, and they appreciate that phone call coming from us. And it doesn't even have to be sound like a super professional type person. They like it that you sound like you're their friend or their family member, who they're relying on, that they don't have. So my suggestion would be, just pick up the phone and call. You might actually be making someone's day.
Yeah, well, definitely. So I can see Tisa's mic is unmuted, and I know you're kind of on the opposite spectrum, Tisa, right? You don't have experience with telemarketing, but you did it and you've done it. And can you share your experience, any recommendations, just an update?
Well, I was scary. I was scared of me. I was scared. And when I finally made my phone calls, I couldn't stop. And I've had a couple people hang.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit there. You had a couple people hang up on you, Tisa. Was that what you were going to say? Oh, I'm not sure if we lost her. You there, Tisa? Well, I had the pleasure of speaking with Tisa, and she quickly got over her fear, she told me, of making calls when she got comfortable in it. And kind of the nature of the beast, right? We're cold calling people, and you might catch someone at a bad time, or they might just not want to talk, and just hang up, and that's okay. So be it. If they're wanting information, at least they know we called and we cared. So I'm sorry they hung up on you, but I tell you what, if you call me, I'll never hang up on you, Tisa. I love chatting with you. And I don't know if Mike Ballmer or Justina's having a hard time unmuting, but Justina, if I could share your story, I know that you went through your list fairly quickly and were able to split it up with Mike Ballmer. Mike, you're unmuted. How have you found your calls going?
Well, they've been going well. I get a lot of voicemails, which is kind of disappointing. But once you start, it's kind of, you kind of look forward to it in a way. There was one lady I talked to, she's in the Norwalk area. When I talked to her, she was almost like would be a great facilitator. So I passed her along to Leslie, and she might even be someone that we could have as a facilitator there. She knows lupus. She has it herself. She knows a lot of information. She's very optimistic, and it was really encouraging to hear her.
Great.
I was thinking maybe to call. I usually called in the evenings, so I'm going to try and call in the mornings the people I couldn't get in the evenings, thinking that maybe that'd be a better time to reach them. So I plan on continuing with them, the ones I weren't able to contact.
Excellent, Mike. I did call that contact back. I left her a voicemail, so I'm waiting for her to give me a call back. So that's great. And I will follow up with that for sure. So that's a great piece of advice, Mike. So trying different times of the day. Personally, for me, I feel when I make my calls, because I've been doing these calls for a long time, so I thank all of you for helping me out with them, because there's a lot to do. I find after 3:30 on is the best times for me to make the phone calls. You know, and I know some people have been making calls on the weekend. I think Renee's been making calls on the weekend. But really, these calls are up to you. So that's the beauty of being able to help out the organization. We're making these calls when it best fits your schedule. So it's just about getting in there and doing it, and then maybe readjusting your schedule to do a follow-up call later on. So I know we've all completed the calls and we're working on the follow-up calls completed. So that's a great piece of advice, Mike. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, I think I've kind of touched upon everybody that can unmute, and I apologize, you guys. I have unmuted everyone's line, so Justina, everyone's talking because I've released that access, so I'm not sure why you're having troubles, my friend. And I do want to hear from you because you are a great voice to hear, and I apologize for that difficulty. But let me try just one more thing, if I touch on your mic before we hit it over to
Leslie?
Yes.
Okay, it worked.
Yay, Justina. Hi.
Okay.
I know you and Mike have been, you know, a good dynamic duo and hitting it up. Any pointers or anything you can share about how the calls are going?
I had a lot of people call me and were actually really, really happy. They're like, oh my God, I never heard anything from the Lupus Foundation. This is so exciting. Like, I think us calling them really made their day. And then I did change like the times of when I would call people, and I noticed more people did answer the phone around 3.
Yeah.
And then I had a lot of people that really did want to be in the Facebook chat. Like, a lot of people were engaged. They're really excited and happy.
Great.
And then
So
I do have a question.
Sure.
Are we supposed to, the people that we did not leave a voicemail for, are we supposed to call them back right now as well?
The people you like maybe have not gotten to, I'm not sure I understand. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got through my whole entire list. Okay, I'm sorry, my dog is barking. I'm gonna have to walk away.
It's okay.
Okay, so I got into my whole entire list, and then like the people that we left voicemails for, we called them back. Now the people that we actually talked to, are we calling them back yet?
Oh, not yet. So
Okay.
just an update on that. Everyone that has requested packages, we've just gotten those all sent out. We are looking for the next phase of maybe updating your list and getting you guys new contacts to start with. So I think you're telling me is you're done with your list and you're done with your follow-up, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, everyone needs to get on Justina's level. So great. So just hold off just a second. We're going to get everyone caught up to where you're at. And truth be told, you know, your list is kind of split up with Mike. So that's great that you guys have a team.
It's way smaller.
So we want, and I think also Renee's all caught up too, I believe. I haven't double checked her follow-up call list, but you know, so we're gonna hit the next level. So we're waiting for that. In the meantime, while we're waiting for everyone to catch up, the next phase to this is we want to, if you have any resources in your community, like do you know of local soup drive, donation drop-offs, things of those natures, anyone you're talking to on the phone, are they asking for medication assistance or things of that nature? So I guess what I'm looking for, is there something local in your community that we can provide resources out to other patients that we might not know about? So if you hear of those things, I want to hear of them because we'll do a couple things. One, we'll put it on the resource guide. 2, we'll send out an email locally to just the region of where this service might be. And then I just want to know if you're providing resources in addition to people you're talking to. So great job, Justina. Thank you for unmuting your line. I did want to hear from you, and I appreciate you sharing your experience. And I'm so sorry, Suzanne, were you trying to say something before?
Yeah, so for the young lady that I think it was Tisa who said she was scared to death, okay? So I know you're not going to believe this, but I'm actually bashful, okay? But that's a joke. I really am the bashful twin. And I'll never forget the first time I spoke to someone. And so somebody told me it doesn't matter if you speak to one person, 10 people, or 100 people. Okay, they all deserve the same conversation, and you just concentrate on that one person. And if you know the information, you are the expert, and they're willing to listen. So you've got this. There's nothing to be afraid of. Now, some people may hang up because in the world we live in, they're not expecting a pleasant call. They usually expect people who want money from them or bill collector. It's so out of character that we would call just to ask, how are you? So if you miss them, call them again. I promise you, they will truly enjoy just getting the call. Even if you don't have a conversation, we're just here checking in on you. We know that lupus can be a lonely, misunderstood disease, and we want you to know we're thinking of you. And if you need companion or you need a buddy, let us know.
And it might be okay to even start off the conversation that way, like, hi, I'm so-and-so with the lupus organization. I don't want anything from you other than to check in to see how you're doing and let you know of the resources we have available. Do you have a few minutes to talk? You know, maybe just get it out there. I'm not asking for money or anything like that. I'm just trying to check in with you as a patient. But Tisa, you know what? I think you get the badge of bravery. Was it the lion that didn't have any courage in The Wizard of Oz? You got past that fear and did it. So thank you for stepping outside your comfort zone. And you shared a couple stories with me that you really made a difference in some people's, lives. And that does something for yourself too, right? Knowing that you helped someone, that just warms my heart. So, good job. Good job.
One more thing, Leslie, is the podcast. I just want them to know I really struggled with what we would call it. And it's really a spinoff of a patient living with lupus. So it's called Life with Lupus in Our Living Room. All right. So I'm real excited about it. Things that don't come easy to us, but I think it's going to be very successful. And I look forward to having all of you on the podcast one at a time. And I want you to search for someone who has that compelling story that would be willing to join us on the podcast. So, we're just trying whatever we can. We're pivoting to bring new things to people in the digital world that we're all forced to live in right now.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely keeping up with trends and stepping outside our comfort zone. So, we're doing what we can to bring tools and resources to our community. Podcasts are pretty big for us. So we're hoping we're stepping on to the next big thing that we can do. And speaking of, just resources and tools that we have available to us, but maybe don't know everything about, that brings us to our presenter here. So we always want to see how we can help sharpen your tools and just be knowledgeable as to resources that we have. So as you're talking to patients, there's other resources outside that you can use. And so we asked Cindy Fisk to join us. She is the patient engagement liaison for GSK and Us Lupus. I just heard her say today she's one of 4 of the patient engagement liaisons with GSK. So we definitely welcome you. And I'm going to figure out how to give you presenter here, Cindy. So just bear with me. You know how I always kind of fuddle with things. One moment, bear with me a second. I know I'll figure it out. Here we go.
Okay. Now the goal is, let me see if I can take control. So let's see, because I think my camera, can you see my slides yet?
Yes.
It's loading, yes.
Oh, thank goodness. So I'll leave this one up just for a second. So I lose seeing Suzanne and Leslie right now. So that's always awkward, but thanks for having me and inviting me tonight. I'm thrilled to be here. I would so much rather be with all of you in person. Beginning of this year, Suzanne had told me how many events. She basically asked me if I was going to move to Ohio. I live in Pennsylvania, and I pretty much rest assured January that I was going to spend the bulk of my year in Ohio. obviously 2020 had other plans for us. So as Leslie mentioned and Susanna mentioned, I'm one of 4 patient engagement liaisons with GSK. Some of you on the line may know me, may have met me last year. I was at quite a few events in Ohio. And I'll just share a real quick story of what drives me. And it really is all of you and all those that are thriving with lupus. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to take you back a long time ago, and I'm not going to date myself. But when I was in nursing school, I really do remember spending, quite a bit of time learning about the immune system. And then when we got to lupus, and I share this story over and over again, it really wasn't much more than a few sentences, maybe a paragraph, and we moved on. Well, now you fast forward all these years later, and when I'm out and about and I run into nurses that are coming out of nursing school today, what I'm hearing is not a lot has changed, right? They still spend quite a bit of time learning about the immune system and just a little bit of time learning about lupus itself. So there's still a lot of work to be done to raise awareness, and that's why I am really passionate about the role that I play at GSK, not only to raise awareness, but to empower those that are living with lupus through tools and resources from GSK's Us and Lupus program, so that they can be advocates for themselves in the management of their disease and ultimately have more meaningful conversations with their healthcare team, so their doctors. So that's really what drives me. Something as you're out and about in the community, and Leslie, maybe you can shed some light on this. Are your navigators, I know usually your support group leaders or facilitators, for the most part, my experience has been most or somebody living with lupus. Is that true of your navigator team?
Either they're lupus patients or they know someone or they're in the healthcare arena.
Okay, cool. So one thing when you're out in the community or you're meeting with your support groups is to really kind of get a sense from those that you're engaging with is what they're doing currently to track their symptoms. And this is so important because there's research that has shown that, and it was done in the lupus community, and it involved like 957 people. It included patients, it included rheumatologists, it included supporters and caregivers. And what was uncovered is that more than half, or 52%, of those living with lupus stated that they minimized or they underreported, they didn't tell the whole story when it came to talking with their doctors. They weren't telling everything that was going on. And then what came out of that was even more surprising to me was that almost 3/4 or 72% of physicians didn't realize that patients were doing this. So there's a huge disconnect in communication that's going on between the patient living with lupus and their doctor. So it really is key that they have a system in place to track and report out their symptoms. What's up on the screen right now, and I'll share with you some tools from Us and Lupus, but are they keeping a journal? Are they involving family and friends? Are they using, say, a mobile device? There's plenty of apps out there, or even something as simple as a notes section in your phone. I'm a huge fan of that. And then also having their medical records available, right, when they're having a conversation with their doctor. But then just as equally important in tracking symptoms is sharing if their symptoms are changing over time, how they're affecting their daily life. Are they preventing them from doing things that they enjoy? Perhaps getting out and about with, when we were able to get out and about more, but maybe a missed dinner or a child's sporting event because they just weren't feeling up to it. Their lupus kept them from that. Or does their lupus make them feel isolated, depressed, or frustrated? So here's some things that you can take back to your groups, or when you're engaging in the community, kind of get a feel for them. How are they tracking their symptoms? Are they reporting them accurately? Are they forgetting to report things? And that'll kind of give you an indicator that they really don't have a system in place. Are they being honest in reporting, right? Are they telling that whole story? And kind of uncovering, has there ever been a time that maybe they didn't share, and trying to understand the why behind that. So this is a great way to kind of just, if you're looking to, start a conversation in a group, to kind of get a feel for what people are doing. So Leslie mentioned some resources. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with Us and Lupus, and I had so hoped tonight, we're launching a whole revamped website of the program. It was supposed to go live September 15th, but technology is not always our friend, so we're a little behind, but it should be out this month. So Us and Lupus. So the Lupus Thriver, as I like to refer, is really at the center of managing their disease, right? But they should be able to lean on family and friends and their doctors. You guys are so lucky in Ohio. You've got the LFA Greater Ohio chapter with all of their tools and resources and everything that they've done, in 2020 and before. And then you also have, or they have, the usandlupus.com program. So what is usandlupus.com? So this is a website that's managed and designed by GSK, and it really was designed to give more than just facts about lupus, right? Because you can just about Google anywhere and you can find out the basics. But Us and Lupus was designed to really, to answer that survey that took place, right? That gap in communication, to provide those that are living with lupus tools and resources to empower them, not only to face their lupus, but to have more meaningful conversations with their doctors and with their healthcare team, so that they could tell the whole story and get the care that they so deserve, right, and that they so need. So out on usandlupus.com, a variety of tools and resources, and these are all available to download, and these tools are not going to change in the revamped version. There will actually be more to come, but there are tools such as a checklist, and I'll bring these tools up one by one, a tracker for tracking the impact that lupus is having on somebody's life. The Lupus Log, just ignore that. That was a mobile app. They're redoing it, and they've kind of just taken it away for a bit. Hopefully it'll come back this year. An appointment prep guide so that they can make the most out of their doctor visits, and a Lupus Dictionary. And I'll go into these more in detail. So the checklist. I'm a list maker, so the checklist would be wonderful for me. It's a great way to go down a list. Suppose you're not somebody that likes to journal or really to write. The checklist is a great way to go down, identify certain symptoms and risk factors that go along with lupus, and kind of check off what's been going on between doctor visits. So perhaps, there's been some chest pain, or there's been a rash that developed. You're able to kind of note, this is either the first time I've had it, or I've had this symptom for, a few days, or maybe it's a few weeks. This has happened since my last doctor visit, but it's an easy way to go down a list and kind of check off what's been going on with your lupus. And where this comes in handy is, if you think about it, we all love to think that the day that we have a doctor's appointment is going to be a day that we're not feeling well. Well, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a day you're probably feeling pretty good, or they're feeling pretty good. So are they really, or are you really going to remember what went on with your lupus or their lupus by the time they're in front of their doctor? And that's whether it's face-to-face or in this new virtual world we're in through telemedicine. So the checklist is a great tool to have in front of you. And on the back of the checklist is a nice area where you can write down any questions you may have for your doctor. You can put down maybe a list of your meds, or the impact that your lupus is having on your life. Where I find the checklist also helpful is perhaps you're out and engaging in the community or within your support groups, and you have somebody that's newly diagnosed, right? And they don't know specifically what to be out on the lookout for. This checklist is a great way to kind of identify and recognize, yep, that might be associated with my lupus, check it off, check out how often it has happened. Is this the first time? It's gone on for days or, a couple of weeks, but a great way to just kind of document that. And all of these resources are out on usinlupus.com. You can download them, you can save them, you can print them out. They're out there in color, but I will tell you, they print off just as beautifully in black and white. So, and they will be out on the revamped website as well once that's available. And then the Lupus Impact Tracker. So remember when I was talking about tracking symptoms, but it was equally as important to track the impact that one's lupus is having on their life. So maybe it was I was depressed, or I was anxious, or I had trouble concentrating. I'm self-conscious about my appearance. The tracker allows somebody to give a score to what's going on their lupus. And the higher the score, the more their lupus is impacting their life at that period of time. The goal is to complete it once every 4 weeks, just so you can kind of see what's going on, what impact somebody's lupus is having on their life at any given time. And again, this is also downloadable on the website on usinlupus.com. And then the journal. So I will tell you, you're going to see on the screen here on this slide, it tells you if you enroll, and you can enroll at no cost on the website itself. They used to, and they still are as of right now, best of my understanding, until it converts over to the new site. When you enrolled, they would send a Lupus Journal, and it was a simple, small 5x7 book for journaling. Journaling is a great way to document what's going on with your lupus, your thoughts, your feelings, your symptoms, any questions you might have for your doctor. A great place to capture, the impact that your lupus is having on your life. And I encourage people, think about what they're doing. So when you're out in the community or in your support groups and you're having these conversations with patients, find out, gauge what they're doing, whether they have a system in place or don't have a system in place. Because I will tell you, if I tell you to journal or tell somebody to journal and you're not a journaler, chances are you're not going to stick with it. And that's the key. You want to find a way that works for you so that you can keep track and document what's going on with your lupus. I had one gal tell me, I forget where I was, I don't think I was in Ohio, but she told me that she keeps track of her symptoms on Post-it notes, and she leaves little yellow sticky pads all over the house. And I said, well, that's great. As long as the day of your doctor's appointment, you're gathering up all those yellow sticky notes so that you have, a record of what's going on. So again, it comes back to finding a system that works for you. The appointment prep guide. So another key tool that can be used whether you're meeting face-to-face with your doctor or your healthcare team, or perhaps it's in a telemedicine appointment. It's just a handy tool to kind of go down to just kind of trigger you before your appointment as far as, did I take note of everything that's going on? Did I fill out my Lupus Checklist or whatever system I was using to keep track of my symptoms? Have I documented or written down how my lupus is impacting my life in between maybe the last time I saw my doctor? Getting ready, what you need to do a few weeks perhaps before getting ready for a doctor's appointment, or choosing an appointment buddy. That's so key. Having that extra set of eyes and ears next to you, whether you're in a telemedicine appointment or face-to-face at your actual doctor's office, but somebody that can take notes for you while you're listening, or maybe like I did to my husband a couple of weeks ago when he had a telemedicine appointment, kind of poke him to remind him he wanted to ask a certain question. Just somebody helpful there to be there with you. It reminds you to gather your medical records, things of that nature. Just what can I do so that when I'm in front of that doctor, whether it's face-to-face or in front of my phone or computer, that I am making the most and having a really meaningful conversation and telling that whole story of what's going on with my lupus. And then the dictionary. So again, this is out on usinlupus.com. You can download it. I'm a huge fan of the dictionary. You'll find that a lot of the people that you're engaging with out in the community or within your support groups, when they were diagnosed with lupus, they were thrown into a whole new world of medical terms, right? So the Lupus Dictionary is a great way to kind of make sense of some of the terms and words that doctors are using during these appointments, again, so that you can have that more meaningful conversation and really understand what the doctor is saying to you. And I also encourage people to share this dictionary with friends and family, so that they too can have a better understanding of some of the terminology that you or those you're out in the community engaging with are having. So I'm a huge fan of the dictionary as well. And again, it's downloadable on usandlupus.com. I think the key here is really to remember and really to emphasize with those that you're engaging with is that they're not alone, right? Have them, encourage them to lean on family and friends, to really be open and honest with their doctors, lean on them, and not to be afraid to ask for help. Support is out there, but they truly are key. They're key in assessing what's going on with their disease activity. They have to know that they play the most important role in managing their lupus. They need to be open and honest in their communication. They need to take advantage of everything that's out there for them. The LFA, Greater Ohio, has wonderful tools. Usandlupus.com has wonderful tools. Find something that works for you, put a system together so that they are tracking symptoms, tracking the impact that their symptoms and their lupus are having on their lives, so that they can have that real open conversation with their doctor. And they need to stay educated on their lupus. And then lastly, I bring this up, so those of you that are on the web, on the webinar, if you have your smartphone in front of you, if you take your camera out and you hover over the QR code, it will bring you to the Us and Lupus website. You can bookmark it on your phone. You can enroll right there. But I encourage you to check it out, share it with those in the community that you're engaging with. Let them know, like us on Facebook. They'll be sharing some updates. There's a whole community out there. They'll share some updates on when the new site will be up, and I expect it up within the next week or so. And I will tell you right now on the site, there are no resources in Spanish. With the new website, tools will be available in both English and in Spanish. That's huge. That's been a huge ask. We are listening. So that's coming. There will also be some information that's not currently out there on diet and exercise and the importance of sleep and stress management. There's also going to be information on financial support, which didn't exist before, out on the site. And then this is one of my favorites, because I think that the caregiver is so important in the life of a lupus patient. There will actually be a section dedicated to the caregiver and tips for caregivers. So I've gotten little peeks and glimpses of the new site, and I love it, and I can't wait to share it with all of you. So I had hoped to do it tonight, not the case, but feel free to reach out. Leslie has my information. If you need me at a support group meeting, or you just want to pick up the phone and have me walk you through the site, I'm happy to do it once it's up and running. So with that, I will turn it back over to Leslie, and if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
That's great. One of the important tools that you highlighted there is the prepping for your doctor's appointments, right? And I find myself, when I do talk to a lot of patients, I'm telling them to do this, writing those questions down ahead of time, because it seems like, you're rushing. I know the Cleveland Clinic, to get to point A to building C to D is quite a far. And by the time you get there, all those questions have left your brain, right? So if you have that prep list and you're able to help the patient recognize to prepare for that, it's really a meeting, right, with your doctor, that they have all the tools with them. So that's probably one of my favorite tools too, is just having that and putting it in your wallet or putting it in your purse already the night before so that you're not forgetting it. Right.
Yeah, you're so right, Leslie, because I will tell you, I mean, we've all done it. I've done it myself. How many times have you been to a doctor's appointment and you think you're ready and you go and you get in, and then the next thing you know, you find yourself in your car, or you've hung up the phone, or your computer, and you realize, oh, I forgot to ask X, Y, and Z, or I forgot to tell them this, this, and this. So the better you prepare, the more meaningful conversation you're going to have. And the whole goal behind that is to ensure that you're really getting the care that you need or that they need. So, yeah.
So, and telling the full story, having them know that it's okay to take someone with them. And Suzanne and I have a very special story that we share with doctor visits. And, there's always two versions of the story, but I can't help the way she feels. So I would say her story is probably the most accurate. But, it's important for us to take that family along so that we can tell them how they feel. Sometimes when you go to the doctor, you are feeling great. You're feeling fabulous. You haven't seen that doctor in a long time, and you get there and they ask how you are, and you feel wonderful at the time, but you forgot about the nights before or the whatever before that you were having aches or something just wasn't right. So sometimes at that moment, they're asking you, how are you? And you're not recalling a couple weeks ago when you weren't feeling so wonderful at the moment. So it's important to help our patients recognize that they need to prepare for those doctor visits and meetings and take people along. So I love the tools, and I know you've showed this to us before, but I think it's great to give back to the facilitators again, directly to the patient navigator, so that they know there's resources and tools that they can access, so that when they're talking to people, they can say, actually, I have a great tool for you. And so that you don't forget, let's download this together. And actually, why don't we run through this checklist together? Because you're giving that patient the support and empathy. You're not sympathetic for them. You're giving them empathy because you're giving them the tool. We don't want them to feel that we feel sorry for them. No, we want them to feel prepared and that they have the ability to voice their needs. And sometimes they just need a little nudge and given the proper tools to voice what they need so that they can get the proper help. So that's what the patient navigators are doing. What's that, Cindy? I'm sorry.
Yeah, empowerment, right? You're giving them the confidence, the empowerment to really manage their lupus.
Yeah. So exactly.
This Leslie threw me under the wheel of the bus here. Let me just share something real quick. First of all, here's what we know. Lupus patients are terrible patients, okay? We suffer from non-compliance very bad. Doctors make comments about it all the time. And I know, I'm embarrassed to say I'm guilty, but it takes—
You're letting our secrets out.
But it takes 4 to 6 months, if you're lucky, to get in to see your rheumatologist. And I don't know about you, but I always have a relationship with my rheumatologist. And by the time I get there, Cindy's right, I'm miserable. And the day I get there, I feel like a bubble, and I mean, a fresh cloud floating in the sky. And then when I get there, I took Leslie along with me one day, and she had this cute little ponytail on top of her head, And I'm sitting there, and the doctor and I are talking, and I'm so excited to be there. And she's asking me all these questions, and I'm answering what I believed to be true at that time. And Leslie, out of the clear blue, jumps up, and her ponytail goes straight up, and she screams, "She's lying! She's lying!" I almost fell off the chair. And the reality is, it wasn't that I was lying. I just put it on the shelf for the minute, because for that minute I was okay. And I was excited to see the doctor. So it is always a good idea to bring someone with you or to make a list so that he does have a full picture of what's going on. And, guilty as charged. Okay, I am. And Leslie, thank you for bringing it to his attention that I lied. All right. The other thing I want to remind you about is the Lupus Foundation is known across the world for having the latest and most accurate information there is about lupus, okay? And we do follow science. And today, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you this. All that's going on in the world today, we still take a stand to science. With all the different views and different things that are going on right now, and the different hoaxes and the lies and the this and the that and the political, I don't have time for it, all right? Neither should you. There is truth, there is research that proves that masks are very beneficial, that 6 feet distancing is very beneficial. This COVID is not a hoax. We're going to follow the science because it's been proven. So please know that we are a trusted partner in a lupus patient's life. It's very important because they're living with uncertainty to begin with, and we want them to know that we are still and will remain the leading source in the world for the exact most latest accurate information about lupus. So in our lupus community, that is a message that you want to resonate over and over again.
So I think one of the things is we really do live in a world of information overload, right? You can search anything out there and gain access to a lot of stuff, and maybe some stuff that you really don't want to read. But one thing is for sure, you can rely on the resources that we do provide because it hits them with facts. And sometimes you could sit with that information and present it and give it to them in a video format, or give them in a downloadable PDF, right? We have the access to do that, and maybe you read that, watch it together, and have a conversation about that. So, you know, you're able to email links over and such, and so sometimes it's just a conversation about what they just learned. So, you know, how to digest that information for them. So I definitely, you know, want to just echo with Suzanne that, you know, we have the access to information. It's just about how they're processing it and how they're getting it, and if they have questions about it. So that's great. I see that Adrian jumped on board with us. Thanks. Everyone's had a busy night. A couple of the facilitators have like conferences with town hall meetings. So I appreciate Adrian jumping in with us, and I'm not sure if she can hear us. But definitely, we're going to continue the course here. So the next round for the patient navigators is we're looking to build out more resources to the navigator, the resource guide on our website. So I want to see if there's anything more local that you guys have. And we're going to continue the next round of chapter check-in calls for our patient navigators. So I'm going to check in again with all of you to see if you can follow up. And I know Renee and Tisa are done, and Justina. So I'll look to see with Victoria if we can pull new lists for you guys, or maybe help some of the other areas that have a large call list. Like I know Akron and Cleveland, it's a very large call list for us. Those are larger areas. So maybe we can dive in and help those people. And then I'm so sorry, I am getting some questions here from people that aren't able to unmute. So I'm going to try just one more time. Everyone should have access to be able to take their microphones off and talk if you would like. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute everyone. And if you, on your top right corner, there should be a green microphone, and you should be able to unmute that microphone. Oh, is someone talking?
Adrian.
Adrian, are you there? Let me just check in with these questions really quick. Stores in the journal. See everything 4 to 6 months. Some doctors I don't get to see every 4 to 6 months. Katie, Google. I'm so sorry, my friend, that you're unable to mute. I do want to hear from you. It's been a little bit since I've talked.
I did get unmuted.
Oh, okay, there you are, Katie. Did you have something to chime in about? I'm sorry. Great. Hi.
Yes, I actually downloaded the Us and Lupus app at the walk last October, And I do love it. I've shown it to my group multiple times. And I love the symptom tracker and how I can add new things. But what I noticed was when I want to do a journal entry, because I had a new symptom happen last November. So it was great that I could put it in there that this had happened. But when I went to my doctor in the beginning of March, or I guess it was February, it was just old enough that that journal entry had disappeared. And I only looked at it like the week before because I was preparing for that doctor visit. I'm like, I want to review that original note, which I was glad I had because it reminded me of some details I had since forgotten. But then when I got in the appointment, it was no longer, the journal only stays there for like 90 days.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think that was the feedback regarding the log. So that was the mobile device I was talking about, that they're going to, they were hoping to launch a new mobile app as they launch the website.
Sorry, Cindy. Someone's doing dishes and it's kind of hard to hear Cindy speak. I apologize, but if you're doing dishes, please stop. Or mute your line if you're not talking directly. Sorry, Cindy. They were looking to update. I couldn't hear you. I apologize.
No, that's okay. My apologies. So, first of all, I apologize for the issue you're having with the app. I think that was some of the feedback that was coming back. It wasn't necessarily working the way that people had hoped it would. And, your experience with losing your journal entry. So they're going to I think they're supposed to eventually pull it completely down. They were going to revamp and come up with a new one, but they've had, as we have flexed in this virtual space in 2020, there have been other things that have taken, I think, priority. So the app is on hold. So what you're currently using, I'm thrilled that you were using it, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point it stops functioning altogether. I don't know how long they're going to support it. So I encourage you to find another system that works for you, because I would hate for you to rely on that and then you don't have the information when you're sitting in front of your doctor. So, if the notes section works for you right now or another tool, and then I will continue to keep Leslie and Suzanne and Adrian up to date when they do revise the mobile app itself. But I will also share that feedback internally. I know that they're aware of some glitches with the system, but I will make sure that they know that, so that as they're prepping for the new app, they take that into consideration. Because here we're encouraging you, right, to document. What good does it do if it disappears after 90 days? It does you no good. So I will take that feedback back as well.
Well, thank you. And I want to thank you for appearing not only tonight, but in the summits, because I have shared the information you've provided me with my support group, and they really appreciate it, because we are all guilty of not sharing all the little details, because I discount them. I'm like, oh, that's minor. So I don't share it.
Yeah, right. Because you think of it, it's just a normal part of living with lupus, or what you consider that. But it really is important that your doctor knows everything. Let him or her, let them decide what's important and what's not, because the smallest of flares or symptoms really could be indicative of some sort of inflammation going on in the body that really could lead to some organ damage. So you really do need to tell that whole story.
Great. Yes. Thank you, Katie, for sharing your experience, and great job sharing it with the group. I'm glad you're finding these resources helpful for you to get out to the group, and I appreciate that. And I know you're constantly sending out emails and little note cards to people to join you in groups. So I appreciate all the little efforts you put to having a great group. And Cindy, just so you know, Katie's from Columbus, so just kind of retrospect of how we're traveling throughout the state here. So that's great.
Thanks for sharing, Katie.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for sharing the reminders.
Yeah. So I also wanted to just show you guys the magazine that's coming out. So I think this was not an easy task, and I I'm not even taking any credit here. You know, I helped with editing and such, but the team in the office is very creative in getting articles and getting the whole magazine together. This was a lot of work and a lot of time and some tears, I think, got put into this magazine of getting it out, just because we had to try to meet some deadlines with our grantors and such. But Lisa Fleming is on the cover of our magazine. She really helped us through the stress of COVID. She joined with us and did guided meditation and relaxation. And so she did a little article. So we did do the mailers out to our chapter, our members. If you're a member to the chapter, you should be receiving this. And actually, Diana, our board member and support group facilitator, said she received hers in the mail today. So that's great. So what we're hoping here is that with the grant that we have access to be able to send this magazine out digitally. And I know Suzanne has a lot of, you know, thoughts with this magazine, but it's a lot of work. To be honest with you, I can't figure out how to click through. So let me just
the arrow on the right, arrow in the middle on the right.
It was just covered. So, you know, great articles in here. And I just wanted you guys to see, you know, we did information on COVID and lupus. We featured some of our gentlemen and women, actually. We shared some patient stories. This young man here, Michael, is definitely going to be something great for sure. He shared his story, and hopefully he can do some third-party fundraising with us, as we've discussed. So he's great. Advocacy, I'm glad I flipped through this because I wanted to update you guys. You know, advocacy will be a little bit different. We were trying to plan on doing something in January, but it's just still unclear as to how we're going to be able to roll that out. So, you know, last year was a huge victory for us. We got a lot done. We received our granting, and so, you know, that's important. So it's still kind of up in the air if we're going to be able to schedule some Skype, maybe calls or whatnot, but no, we're still going to do some local advocacy. The plan there is still just not clear, but hopefully in January we can get back to our state capitol and let them know our needs. And then Gretchen Spence did another article for us with nutrition, and her article is just wonderful. And we recapped all of our educational summits and posted up some more news there. And then we have in memory of our past members that have unfortunately passed away. But just, I can't even tell you guys how hard the office worked on getting this magazine up and going. The graphics that went into this, there was a story on Lisa there. It's a big deal that we're able to put together a piece like this. We are a very small chapter, and I know you guys hear us say that all the time, but we really are. We pulled the skill sets together to pull this together, so I'm just super proud of the office of being able to do that. Amber is a young lady in our office, just super talented with writing, so definitely big kudos to her to pulling these articles together. And hopefully we found her passion, and she'll continue to help bust out these magazines, because we're going to keep doing them quarterly, right, Suzanne?
Right. And if I could add, could you go back one page where the staff is, Leslie?
Sure.
So if things weren't bad enough, and we're all working from a distance and we're trying to pull this all together, and, you know, none of us are really strong graphic people. You see that young man in the right corner there? He looks like President Obama. He talks like President Obama.
He really does.
He went up to President Obama one day and said, "Dad," but he, true story, he's been with us for almost a year now, but unfortunately, due to COVID, he's in the Army Reserve, so he got called up. All right. So he has been trying to help us a few hours here, a few hours there, and we miss him, and we can't wait to get him back. And of course, he's working on the front lines with COVID here in Ohio. But just wanted you to know that our first male employee as it would be, got called away from us, and he was our marketing guru. But the girls all came together, and they're working with him from a distance when they have a few hours here, a few hours there. So things are hectic for us, but I have to tell you, we weathered the storm and we got it done. And I'm grateful to each and every one of them, young talent, and we're blessed to have them. And I say thank you to the entire staff.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. He's not the first male though. He's just the only current male right now. So, you know, maybe it's good he got called up to duty, because I don't know if he can handle all these alpha women. So.
He's probably safer where he's at.
Yeah, no, but there was a lot of work, and he is great to help out with us, so for sure. Some people are saying they can't unmute their lines. You guys, I apologize. I've unmuted everyone's lines because I do want to hear from everyone. Lisa's saying hello to us. I apologize that you can't speak up, but we definitely.
You do *6.
I'm actually able to since that last unmute that you
get on.
Oh, okay. Lisa, hi. Were you trying to say something to us, to the group tonight?
Sorry, I tried to say that when you tried unmuting the last time, it actually worked for me.
Oh, okay. Great. Great. So, and you heard everything and saw everything tonight. So thanks for joining us. And definitely. So, I mean, I think I've hit upon all the tools that are tips that Suzanne really wanted us all to talk about this evening. Thank you, Cindy, for sharing the tools with us, because these are definitely resources our patient navigators and support group leaders can share with their group and individuals. We are going to be continuing out more programming, so please mark on your calendar the November 14th program, because that's the next big virtual summit we'll be doing. And again, these are great platforms to hear straight from the physicians, straight from the medical experts on how we can help our community. So with that said, I'll be kind of marking in. I think I hear Miss Dorothy Acree on there. If anyone, is Dorothy on there? There's a few people that called in that I maybe did not. Oh, hello, Miss Dorothy. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Did anyone else call in that I might not see on my script here? Because I just want to make sure the attendance was in. I think just Miss Dorothy and Aletha. Aletha's there. I know she is because she texted me.
Well, I just want to add one more thing. So we heard today that from the Ohio Commission of Minority Health, even though the state budget has been dismantled, basically, the Ohio Department of Health is going to continue with their line item. It has been reduced. It hasn't been eliminated. The Ohio Commission of Minority Health, their budget has been reduced, but they're going to keep their line item that they have for this chapter in place. And so that allowed us to bring Aletha back into the office to work on, to try to do something to those who are so disappropriately affected by lupus. And we want to keep that population in mind. And we're working on trying to figure out what is the best way to reach the minority community. And, we're looking forward to bringing her back in and having a think tank and trying to figure out to help those most in need. So I just want, we're inclusive to everyone. These are challenging times and we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out where we go from here. We're going to do it together.
If anything, just remember we came out with resilience. All of us did. So I want to thank you guys for that. We are resilient. So I hope everyone has a good evening. Thank you for joining us. And thanks, Cindy, for being our special guest. I'm going to ask you to come back because I had so much fun with you. So thanks for coming.
I miss all of you. I'm sure there's plenty on the line right now that I'm sure I've met, and I do. I miss each and every one of you. I can't wait till we're together again.
And I don't want to forget the walk. The walk, we would be having it like next week, maybe. Usually we have it in the second or third week of September. And this is a huge blow for us, not only financially, but emotionally. It is the time of year where we gather hundreds of lupus patients together to foster relationships with our family and our friends, and to walk all for the same mission and for the same cause. And it's heart-wrenching that we're not together in person. We do have a virtual Walk Your Way event coming up. And of course, I would hope that you all participate, and to all those you talk to, that you would share it with them. So Walk Your Way means just that. We want you to be safe. So walk up and down your driveway, walk around your house, walk on a treadmill, however you want to do it. Your support is needed emotionally and financially. And like I said, together, look, there is no I in lupus, but there is the word us. So it's October, it's 10/10/20. So if you need more information, just go to the website as usual. You can steer people to the website, and all the information is on there. It's just different, that's all.
It's just, if anyone needs help with the walk, feel free to reach out to me. Victoria is your go-to gal these days for the walk right now. But any support group facilitators or patient navigators that just need a little extra questions or anything, I'm always available to talk to you guys. So.
Yeah, and Cindy's going to be there. She's going to cut our virtual ribbon.
So once again, yep. I'll see you all virtually.
Oh, is that it, Leslie? Then go in peace.
That's the program.
Be safe, wash your hands, social distancing, wear your mask when you have to, and follow your doctor's orders. How's that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank
you. Everyone.
Can't wait to see you guys in person.
Yeah, bye, everybody. Miss you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Miss you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
Hi. I don't know if we lost everyone, but if I say, can you hear me still?
I can hear you.
I think it's still recording, but that's okay.
Hi. Hi. Say hi, Grandma.
Yeah.
Hi, Grandma. Let me go get Grandpa. Wait a minute. Really? Bill, come here. Come here.
I think they'll, if I hit yes, it'll.
Okay, can you get rid of this thing? Hi.
Yeah.
There you are. Hi. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Yeah. Hi. What are you doing? You looking at your father? Tell him your father. You can see him anytime. Hi. Look at, we got our baby. Say hi, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Hi, Grandpa. Da.
She's talking to me.
Hi. What are you doing? We love you. We love you, Declan. Oh, yes, we do. Declan, you have over 500 views on my Facebook page. You do.
Well, is she on TV now?
She's on my computer. Yay, you're a star. I've heard from people I haven't heard from in decades. Yeah. Look at you. Your hair looks red on my screen, baby girl.
Yes, I do.
Do you have princess pajamas on?
Toy Story pajamas, but I think we changed her bottoms.
Your mommy work all day today. Yeah.
What's Billy Bob doing back
Billy's
there?
sitting behind him going, oh, thank God her mother's holding her now.
I've been holding her for like an hour and a half. Makes her stay crying.
Do you see where Joe Wesley and Kim Wesley donated $10 million for cancer research in Ohio?
No,
Wow.
but good for them.
10 million bucks. Yeah. Damn it.
Just so you know, I think we're still recording.
Oh, well, you're going to have to edit that then. Hi.
Yeah.
Look at how pink your lips are. Hi.
Dinner.
What are you doing?
My husband said I have to feed him dinner.
Why does he always have to eat, Leslie? Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Grandma's got shoes and socks for you.
New shoes, new shoes. She's getting
Gotta get them to
how big
all out of them. Yay! New shoes, new shoes.
she's 12 to 18 months and glows.
Oh. And all those clothes, you better let her wear them because only 12 months.
I know. She wore her pink outfit the other day that you bought her, like with flowers, and she wears her jacket when she goes outside now.
Oh. Hi. Yeah. Yeah, I heard you found your voice. Oh, what are you saying? Where do you start talking to your mom? Yeah. Happy? If you're happy and you show it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you show it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then I don't know da. If you're
Then you really gotta show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Love you, Grandma.
We both do this.
Grandpa.
I can suck my thumb too. I could. Grandpa does this.
I gave her an apple wedge today, and that little bottom tooth gnawed through the apple.
Oh.
So she's got a sharp bottom tooth and a very good set of lungs.
Grandma's gonna come kidnap you. Your father needs a haircut.
I know, I hate when he puffs it out like that.
Hi.
He hasn't been sleeping well.
Well, all right, good job, Leslie. I'm sure you're exhausted. It's been a busy week.
Hey, we love you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you, baby
Night,
girl.
Grandma, Grandpa. Love kisses. Love kisses. Mwah. Mwah. Mwah.
Bye.
Mwah. Bye-bye.